Today's lesson, section 6.6a, the law of cosines. Here, with the law of cosines, the reason why we have the law of cosines is that the law of sines can't be used directly to solve triangles where we have, or we know, two sides and an angle in between them, or if we know all three sides. Because remember, it's a proportion, so if I only know one angle, or like the two sides, like let's say, looking at this triangle, if I only know sine of A is some number, and I don't know what the opposite side is, then I don't also know the other angles like B, but I do know B, so I can't complete that proportion. It's the same way for everything. If I know all the sides, but I don't know any angles, then it's hard to do law of sines as well. So for the SAS and for the SSS triangles, we need the law of cosines. Okay? So in any triangle ABC, we have the following formulas. Now, these are all interchangeable. So like the first one's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. Here, it's going to be the same for the second one in red and the third one in purple. It's just that you're switching around the letters because you know different parts of the triangle. So it's kind of like law of sines where it's like interchangeable. You can set up any proportion you want based on the information you know. Okay? So let's go ahead and try it. So example 4, we have an SAS triangle, and since I know angle A, now I should find what side A is. So let's go ahead and plug our stuff in. So 15, remember this is B, this is C. Okay, so plus 10 squared minus 2 times 15 times 10 cosine of 30 degrees. Okay? That gives me 225 for 15, gives me 100 for 10 squared. 2 times 15 times 10 would be 300. Now, one pitfall that kids fall into sometimes is that they see all three of these numbers and they want to shove them all together. But remember that 300 times cosine 30 is one term because of the multiplication. So 225 and 100 are not like terms with 300 because of the cosine of 30. So you can only put 225 and 100 together in this case. So a squared is going to be 325 minus 300 cosine of 30. Okay, and from here you can probably plug it into your calculator. That gives you 65.19. Okay, I want a square root. Now, usually a square root you would have plus or minus, but because we're talking about a real triangle, our sides need to be positive. So the square root of 65.19. And make sure you leave it in your calculator so it's as exact as possible. That gives you 8.07. Okay, so that's side A. Now, don't use law of sines, because if you use law of sines, then you have to decide what angle you're supposed to use because of the ambiguous case. Because law of sines at this point acts like you don't know side C, but you do know side C. Like, we have it right there. So just use law of cosines, and you can avoid trying to figure out which one's which and what to do next. So let's pick one of the other angles that we want to solve for. Let's say angle C. So then that means I'm going to use this one. Remember, you use the one that you want to use. You can use the one with angle B if you want. That's up to you. But here, if I choose C, square, 10 squared Now I'm going to use the 8.07 that I just found, and then plug in the 15 squared minus 2 times 8.07 times 15 cosine of c. Okay, so here you get 100. We already know what 8.07 is squared because we just square rooted it. So 65.19 plus 225 minus, here 2 times 8.07 times 15 gives you 242.1 cosine of c. Here I need to solve. Remember, these two are like terms. So 100 equals 290.19. Okay, I'm going to subtract the 290.19 over. Okay, divide your negative 242.1 over to get it away from cosine. That gives you 0.7855 or something like that. Leave it in the calculator, do the inverse cosine of that, and that equals 38.22. You can say 23 if you'd like, because I think it rounds to the 10th there. Okay, so that's angle C. Now it'll be easy to find angle B because you have two angles, so 180 minus the 38.23 gives you 141.77, and then subtract your previous angle of 30 degrees, right? Gives you a 111.77, and that's angle B. Okay, so you found two angles and a side. Next one. So here, if I know all three sides, then I still need to use, now this one doesn't matter which one you start with because you don't know any angles. So let's say we find angle B first. So that means 12 squared would be out here. Let's write what we're going to put in. Okay, so 12 squared equals 5 squared plus 8 squared. Oh, whoops, I got those switched around. There you go. Minus 2 times 5 times 12 cosine of B. Okay, so 8 squared is 64 equals 25 plus 144 minus, it'd be 120 cosine of B. So 64, put your 25 and your 144 together gives you 169. Just like the last one, subtract the 169 over. Gives you negative 105. Then divide by negative 120. That gives you 0.875. Inverse cosine of that gives you 28 0.96. Okay, and then from there do another law of cosine. So let's say we do for angle A. So here 5 squared plus 8 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 8 times 12 minus our cosine of A. So it's 25, 64 plus 144 minus 192 cosine of A. Put those together. So 64 plus 144 gives you 208. Then make sure you subtract that over. Okay. 25 minus 208 is negative 183. Okay. So then that divided by negative 192 gives you 0.953125. Inverse cosine of that, shorten up a little bit on here, but leave it as is in your calculator. So inverse cosine of that gives you 17.61. And just so we have enough room, let me go to the next page. So because I have those two angles, now I can do 180 minus 17.61 and 28.96. So that's angle A and angle B. Okay? And then angle C will equal 133.43 degrees. Okay? So then that's angle C, you have angle A and angle B, you found the rest of the triangle. Okay? But make sure you use law of cosines for the triangles that are SAS and SSS, because if you don't use them all the time for them, then you have to worry about different scenarios for your answers and if you use law of sines. So make sure you stick with the law of cosines so that you don't have to think about the different scenarios, because it deals with one's bigger angle, one's not, and there's different cases with that too. So okay, have fun.